If you are feeling frustrated by your bulk fermentation, then you are not alone. The most difficult part of the sourdough process by far is the bulk fermentation. I have a couple tips for you if you are still starting out and new and learning how to bulk ferment your sourdough. The first tip is to utilize the Sourdough Journey's bulk fermentation chart. You can find this on good old Mr. Google, but this will help you to determine about how long your dough will need to bulk ferment based on the temperature of your dough. You'll take an everyday food thermometer and temp your dough. Based on that, this chart will help you to determine how much of a rise you're looking for. Is it gonna double? Is it gonna rise about 3/4? And it will tell you about how long. This is an approximate chart. It is certainly a helpful guide in timing your bulk fermentation. If you are already utilizing that chart, then you are well on your way, and just try to follow it as closely as you can. It is approximate, but if it's saying to let your dough bulk ferment for 11 hours, you're gonna wanna let it bulk ferment for around that time. The next tip I have is to make sure that your starter is really strong. You want it to more than double. You want a very strong starter. Never feed it a 1:1:1 ratio. You always wanna be giving it more flour and water than the amount of starter that you have in your jar. So if you have 10 grams of starter in your jar, you don't wanna give it 10 grams of flour. You always want to give it more. 50 grams of flour, 100 grams of flour is a really good high ratio. For example, I fed my starter last night. This is where it was at when I fed it, and it has more than doubled. This is a happy, healthy starter. And the last tip that I have for learning bulk fermentation is set aside some loaves to experiment with. For the next loaf that you make a point to tell yourself that this will be an experiment loaf. You don't want it to come out perfect. You just want to see what will happen when you experiment. And then when you go to make that loaf, let it overproof. Let it overproof by a little bit, half an hour, and just see what that looks like. That way you can see what your sourdough starter looks like when it is genuinely overproofed. You'll get to see what the texture is like inside, what it's like on the outside, and then you will know what a genuine overproof sourdough looks like. This way you get an idea of what your sourdough looks like when it's at various stages of bulk fermentation. So in the future, once you have the bulk fermentation down and your loaf is coming out a little funny, you will know whether it's underproof or overproof because you've already experienced that with your starter. Happy baking, everyone.